But Paul, in case some of our listeners don't know your background, would you be kind enough to start and share a little bit about your background?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll do a quick brief intro. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I graduated in 2009, opened up a startup practice in 2012, grew that, expanded our office from 5 to 11 ops, grew it to about $6 million in collections. And then I partnered up with a DSO about 3 years ago. And that's been a really good experience. I'm out of contract with them, so I could essentially leave if I wanted to. I don't plan on doing it because I still like it. And I have my podcast, and I've written two books, Dental Practice Hero 1 and Dental Practice Hero 2. And I think that's about it. And I like doing the coaching, and I just love everything dental business and dentistry. And this whole experience with me selling my practice and really cutting my clinical days has made me realize how much I really enjoy being part of a dental team and just still being with my team. Because I got a chance to get like 4 or 5 weeks off at one point, and I missed it. And
yeah,
I like being part of it.
So
yeah, that's my brief intro.
Great intro. I appreciate you did the nice Reader's Digest condensed version. But
I also have a podcast, and sometimes it's like, okay, let's get to the meat here.
Let's get to it. Tell our listeners a little bit about your schedule these days. How often are you working clinically?
So I do 6 days each month. So it's a Tuesday and a Wednesday, 2 or 3 weeks each month. And I'm just doing 5-hour days where I do ortho, band and bracket on kids one day. And the other day it's like maybe some implants and veneers. And usually it's just some family. It's very relaxed. And I love the ortho. I actually think I'm going to get rid of the general dentistry that I still do a little bit. I just like the ortho. It's so delegatable, and I got a good team.
I'm pretty sure that thousands or tens of thousands of our listeners just leaned in to listen more carefully when they heard 6 days a month. And that was before you even got to the 5 hours a day thing.
Yeah.
I think we've got a lot of our listeners.
I pulled myself out. Yeah.
I want that gig.
It's fun. It's a good gig. But I do spend time managing the practice and working with my team. It's not like all my friends think I just work, 10 hours a week and I just sit at home and do whatever. No, I'm busy. I have other stuff.
Well, in all seriousness, dentists that own their practice, have to put in a lot more time than just the clinical time, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's not, your schedule is not defined by just the clinical hours. It's like clinical hours plus, to really keep everything
We've
going.
got 40 plus team members. So it's a big team. And that's been a learning experience through my whole career that I've learned a whole lot from.
What an exciting trajectory, though, from 2009 startup, right?
2012 startup, 2009 graduation.
Yeah. 2009 graduate, 2012 startup, right? And then growing and developing that practice. And I imagine how big was the facility when you started?
We started at 5 operatories, and then in 2018 we expanded into 11.
Okay. Was 11 enough?
I don't think it's ever enough. I really don't. I mean, it seemed like a lot when we had it. We're at a point right now where we're at capacity with 11, and we're open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. 4 days a week. We're open on Saturdays. We're open for long year. Yeah. We're not open on Friday nights, but we're open through Fridays. We have every chair is full, and I don't think we can squeeze anything more out of it. And I just don't own enough equity right now to take on an expansion and a larger team and more headaches. It just, the juice was not worth the squeezing me. That's why we just dropped Delta back in August. So
we're gonna hold that thought. I'm going to come back. I'm going to circle back and talk about that. In my own practice, Paul Nielsen, my dentist business partner, when we built our first office of 6 ops, we thought, oh, this is going to be good. This will be perfect forever.
Felt big.
Yeah. And then we quickly outgrew it. And we were very fortunate last year to be able to double the size of our space. We were able to acquire the space immediately next to ours, sharing a common wall. We were able to acquire it, and we were able to go from 6 to 12. And now I'm saying more cautiously, because when I did 6, I thought, okay, this is good. This will be all you need, Paul. This is it. Not even close. And then when we got, now it's 12, I'm saying, I think maybe this, well, I don't want to paint myself into a corner, but I think this might be good, but we'll see. I
mean, you guys are really intentional about like your patient experience. You're really intentional about how you run the office. And I have some team members that will say, because they've been with me since the beginning. They'll say, I just miss when we were small. I really do. And I miss it too, but I have to remind people that, hey, we really provide a great service for our patients, and we are growing because we provide such a great experience. This would have never stayed small. It wasn't possible.
Right.
And now we're doing 6 million. We did 1 million our first year. I said, we're doing 6 times as much as we did 10 years ago. Is everything ethical and to good quality? And they say, yeah. And I say, then we're just helping 6 times as many people.
I love that you said that, Paul, because I think when we think about growth, naturally, you and I can put a green visor on and we can do business. And our listeners can do that as well. But I find that if we start thinking about growth in a more noble way, about serving others, about changing more lives, about helping more people have great oral health, it becomes a wonderful rallying point for our team. Then the numbers follow. I'm a firm believer that we lead with our values, with our vision, with how we serve others. And then the numbers follow when you do that, as opposed to, setting out to build and plug in whatever number you want, practice. It really is much more, it's easier to get team member subscription and passion around values and serving others.
So true. Yeah.
And I think bigger is better.
Yeah. And I think it's one of those things that we set goals, or should we be setting production goals, or should we just be setting goals on how we want things to function and what we want the practice to do? Because I think if you focus on the practice and the operations and stuff, the numbers just work out. And it's about helping people. I think it's really hard for a team to get behind numbers, I guess. And whenever I look at like systems that don't implement, a lot of times it's like, I haven't defined that why. I haven't like said why this is important to the patients or the practice. Because one thing that I've always said to my team since we've opened is I got 2 primary goals. 1, this is going to be a great place for patients. I want this to be the best place for patients. But 2, which is more important than number 1, is I want to create a great place to work for our team. So that's everything, every system we have. It's like, how is it good for the patients? How is it good for the team? And I think if you just stick to that, everything else just falls into place. Like, that's the big goal.
Man, I couldn't say it any better than you just said it. And Paul, can we agree that as we're recording this in late 2023, we're kind of in uncharted territory in the hiring, and not just in dentistry, but businesses, across different,
a little scary,
different aspects. Very different. You and I remember a time when you could put an ad out and you could have 8 great resumes, within hours. And frankly, they were all qualified. And then it was a matter of picking the one that was the best fit for you. And today the landscape has really changed, except I think you just provided the answer. And that's, you provide the place that provides the best environment for our team. Then you're going to attract and keep the best team members.
We keep people. We don't always attract as many as we want, but it's funny. I remember like I recorded some videos about hiring maybe 5 years ago. And I was just watching these recently because I'm in a project where I'm recording new videos now. And I mentioned, if they don't send the cover letter, I just throw it away. If there's no cover letter, I throw it away. And now, like you mentioned, it used to be we used to choose between people. Now we're just like, hey, I like you. And instead of me asking you questions, I'm going to sell you on me, because please like me. I want them to like me now,
Now there are some of our listeners that will identify with what I'm about to say, and I'm going to try to not be judgmental. There are doctors making hiring decisions based on, well, she has a pulse.
Yeah.
So she's in.
I've done it. I've been there. I've done it. It didn't work out, but
right.
I learned something, I guess.
Yeah.
I think empty seats are sometimes better than the wrong people wrong people in the seats. I prefer.
I think it's more important than ever to be intentional about our hiring. And I think one of the things that means today, from my vantage point, is that we strongly consider hiring outside of dentistry. Now, granted, obviously certain positions have to be hired inside dentistry because of credentials.